The text arrived while I was standing in line at the pharmacy, staring at a rack of birthday cards I didn't need. It wasn't dramatic. No exclamation points. No insults. Just one sentence from my sister's number. We voted. You're not part of the wedding anymore. I read it once. Then again. Then I locked my phone and slid it into my pocket like it was nothing more than a reminder notification. I nodded. Not because I agreed. Not because I understood. Just a small physical acknowledgement, the way you nod at bad news when you not have room to feel it yet. By the time I got to my car, the group chat had already woken up. Laughter emojis. A couple of sarcastic comments. Someone wrote, "Well, that was easier than expected." Another, "West democracy works." It felt less like a family conversation and more like a performance. Like they were rehearsing certainty together. Certainty always sounds braver when it has an audience. I didn't respond, not out of strategy, not out of maturity. I just didn't have anything to say that would matter. I sat in the car for a minute before starting the engine. The air smelled faintly like plastic and old receipts. The radio was already on, some afternoon talk show murmuring in the background. Life continued with embarrassing normalcy. The strange part wasn't the exclusion. That, I could trace backward easily. Years of being the extra sibling, the useful one, the reliable one, the one who didn't demand space. The strange part was the phrasing. We voted, as if I had been a policy. As if my place in her life was and that could be seconded. I didn't go home right away. I drove to the long way route through the side streets, passing the bakery we used to stop at as kids. I didn't feel nostalgic, just observant, like I was inventorying landmarks from a city I no longer lived in. By the time I got home, the group chat had slowed. The jokes had peaked. The energy burned itself out. There were no apologies. No explanation, just silence settling like dust. I made tea, sat at the table, let the quiet stay quiet. And then, without trying to, I started remembering logistics instead of emotions. The venue spreadsheet I'd organized. The vendor calls I'd made because my sister hated phone calls. The deposit I put down because my parents were waiting on transfers. The contract in my email, my name on the payment line, not as leverage, just as facts. I hadn't insisted on control. I had just filled gaps, like I always did. That night, I didn't sleep well. Not from anger, more from a kind of internal noise. My mind kept trying to solve something that wasn't a puzzle. There was nothing to fix. No conversation that would restore something that had already shifted. The next morning, I went to work like normal, answered emails, went to a meeting, nodded at a coworker in the hallway, drank bad coffee. Around noon my phone rang, unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Almost let it go to voicemail, but something made me pick up. "Hello. Hi, is this?" A woman asked, polite and professional. "Les. This is Laura from the venue. I'm calling to confirm the cancellation of the deposit associated with the March wedding booking." I didn't speak for a second. Not because I was confused, because the moment felt heavier than the sentence. "Yes," I said finally. "That's mine. We just need verbal confirmation before processing the release. The contract is under your name, so protocol requires it." Her voice was neutral, calm, administrative. She didn't know my sister. Didn't know the group chat. Didn't know the family vote. She only knew the file. "Yes," I said again. "You can proceed. Thank you. You'll receive the confirmation email shortly." The call ended. I stared at my phone. There was no rush of satisfaction, no surge of revenge, no feeling of power, just a quiet certainty. The system recognized me even if my family didn't. The email arrived 10 minutes later. Clean, formal, subject line deposit cancellation confirmation. It felt absurdly small for the weight it carried. I didn't forward it to anyone. I didn't announce anything. I went back to work. That evening, the group chat came back to life. At first, it wasn't accusatory. It was confused. Did anyone cancel the venue? They just called Mom. There's a problem with the booking. Then, why is the deposit gone? Who authorized that? This is serious. Then my sister. Did you do this? I waited before answering. Not out of cruelty. Out of care. I typed one sentence. The deposit was in my name. The venue called me to confirm the cancellation. I said yes. No defensiveness, no explanation, no emotion, just a fact. The chat went silent. Not the performative silence from before, the real one. The kind that happens when people realize something has already happened and can't be undone by volume. A few minutes later, messages came in privately. My mother asked if we could talk. My father sent a long paragraph that tried to be calm and failed. My sister sent. Why would you do this? I stared at that question longer than the others. Because it assumed intention, it assumed malice, it assumed reaction. The truth was simpler, I replied. Because I was removed from the wedding. The contract was mine. That's how the system works. No blame, no history lesson, no emotional ledger, just reality. We talked later. Not that night. Not dramatically. Not with shouting. Just tired voices and circular sentences and people trying to separate consequence from cruelty. No one apologized cleanly. No one fully owned anything. No one fully understood anyone else. The wedding didn't collapse. They found another venue, paid another deposit, reorganized, adapted, life moved. Our relationship didn't heal. It didn't fully break either. It thinned, became more formal, more careful, more distant. There was no revenge arc, no cinematic justice, just a quiet rebalancing. I stopped filling gaps, stopped managing what wasn't mine, stopped assuming presence meant obligation. Sometimes, dignity isn't loud. Sometimes it's just the moment you stop subsidizing people who voted you out of their lives while still using your name. I still get group texts, still get birthday messages, still get holiday calls. We are a family, technically. But something changed that day, not in them maybe, but in me. Not bitterness, not triumph, just clarity. I no longer confuse being needed with being valued, and I no longer confuse silence with weakness. When the venue called, I didn't take revenge. I took my name back.